Hello crypto world, welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel I delve into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. So today I'm actually going to vary a little bit and I'm going to look at the Dow Jones, but I believe it all ties into crypto charts as well. And I'll show you how I believe it can tie in. So what I want to do is look at a large scale picture of the Dow Jones. So this is where we are today. This is current Dow Jones on a day chart, but I'm going to go way back to the very beginning, and this started back in 1896. I'm going to focus on this section here. So this is the run-up to the Great Depression and the crash, the 1929 crash, which came to a capitulation point in 1932. Now, if you take this fractal right here and copy and paste it onto here, it would look something like this. So as you can see, it does match. However, the timing isn't quite the same. So what I am going to do is I'm going to take this section here and cut it up to try to match the timing better over here. Now this whole section right here is a macro pattern. This took 36 years to play out, and from 1932, which was the capitulation point, to present day is 90 years. So folks, this is a very macro picture of the Dow Jones. So let's get started. Okay, so as you can see, I split it up into different segments. So this first segment is in a blue box, it goes sideways. This next one goes up. In this purple box, this gray box, it goes sideways. This red box, it goes up. The blue box goes sideways, and then this purple box, it goes up to a peak, and then this other slightly different color purple declines to a capitulation point. So let's examine at each point. So let's see how this blue box would align at the beginning of this after the capitulation point. Okay, so as you can see, this blue box is copied and pasted to meet the timing here. Now this is also on a month candle, so it's a very large zoomed out picture of the Dow Jones. As you can see, it's not exact. Now when a pattern repeats, when a fractal repeats, it's usually done in a unique way. It's still the same pattern, the structure is the same, but its expression is not identical. So you'll never have two identical fractals that repeat themselves. One will always have some variation, some difference, but the structure should remain the same. And that is what we see here. Now let's continue on. Let's do the next one. So this one, it went much higher than here, but as you can see, it's the same. It's doing the correct thing at the correct place. So when here it moved up next, the structure of this is repeating the same. It moves up. Okay, so here we added the next one right here. This one, what originally was stretched out much longer by time. This one is more compressed, but once again, the structure is taking place at the right spot. It goes sideways here, just like it did originally. Let's continue to add to it. Okay, so the next one was this red one right here where it moves up. Now here we're going to have to zoom way out because it really moved up here. As you can see, it moved up quite a bit compared to the last one, but once again, it's doing the right thing at the right place. It's moving up when it should in the correct sequence. Let's try the next one. Okay, so the next one is this blue sideways box where it goes sideways right here, and let's see how that jives with what comes after this red one. So as you can see, it's not exact, but the structure repeats the same kind of basic pattern. It's the same basic structure. Let's continue on and see what comes next. So what comes next is this part right here where it moves up to a peak. Let's examine how that looks on today's chart. So as you can see, it goes up where it's supposed to go up. The structure remains intact. Now again, there's some variation in the way things play out, but the basic overall pattern, the basic overall structure is following the original fractal. It moves up when it's supposed to, it moves sideways when it's supposed to. So now we are currently at this point. Now price could continue to move up and it could still potentially follow this pattern. But if we now add the decline on, it would look something like this. Now, I'm not sure where this decline would go to. This is assuming that the decline starts here at this peak and moves down. Structurally, I would say that it is in the right place. Now, whether this moves up a tiny bit more or here, I'm not sure. I'm going to give you an argument to make this the peak. The decline, if you measured the original decline, I believe it was something like an 89% drop. I don't know if it would be that much. I'm not sure where it would go. If you measure where this decline lined up with this fractal here, it would even be more than 90%. Let's see, it basically bottomed out right here, which would be right kind of near the peak, well, right before the peak of this original fractal, and that would put something like that right there, which would be an incredible drop. That's just almost too hard to believe. So I don't know where the bottom of this potential fractal would be. That is yet to be determined. Now, to me, if this fractal went higher, it could still be following this basic structure. What would change it, in my humble opinion, is if it went sideways. That would be a break from the sequence of events that the original pattern or structure calls for. If it continues to go higher, I would still say, well, it's at this point, it's supposed to move up. If we are at the peak, it should start moving down. Now let's dive into, on a smaller time frame, since this is a month time frame, and examine this peak, compare it back to the 1929 peak, and see if we can find any similarities. So here we are back in 1929 at the very peak right here. I placed a Fibonacci retracement level on this. It came to an initial decline right here. Now I posted this on Twitter, so you can follow me at Twitter at Chart Historian. You know, if you enjoy this type of analysis where I analyze chart structures, fractals, and patterns, you should hit that subscribe button because you'll be notified of when I put out new videos, which I put out videos on a regular basis. You should also hit that like button if you find this interesting. So let's compare this to today's chart. And just one quick thing, you notice how I aligned it here, it touched here, it came close to touching here, this trend line right here, and then it declined. It also gets above the 50% retracement level right here, coming close to the 0.618, but it does not touch that 0.618 level. So there's a 0.618. It comes close to touching it, but it does not touch it. So let's see how this jives with what is happening in today's chart. So here we are at today's chart, and this is a daily candle. So as you can see, I positioned this trend line at the peak. I also put a Fibonacci retracement level on this in the exact same way I did the previous one at 1929. So the one retracement level is at the peak, and the bottom is at the decline where it first declined on the other one right here. So the first decline before the bounce. So as you can see, it bounces up. Now, remember how it touched this one right there? So here it's done the same thing. So it declines, and now it's gone above the 50% level, just like it did in 1929 right here. It's gone above the 50% level. Now it's coming close to the 0.618 level, but we'll have to see if it touches, and there is a good argument that it doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this fractal onto this chart right here, and you'll see what that looks like. Okay, so here is that fractal I placed on, and as you can see, it kind of matches. So again, currently we are following the structure of the 1929 peak. Now, on the original 1929 peak, it touched here, but it did not touch here. It came close to the 0.618, but here, in this time, it could theoretically touch it and still structurally be the same as what happened back in 1929 with the getting above the 50% level, coming close to the 0.618 level, but not touching it. So it could theoretically touch it here, but not get to that actual 0.618 level. However, there is also, this fractal could easily kind of go sideways here and then start dropping. Now, how does this relate to crypto? So it is my belief that Bitcoin is currently working on its third wave before going into its capitulation point. This would jive, in my humble opinion, with what Bitcoin would do. So here over in Bitcoin, I have a Fibonacci retracements, and the one retracement levels at the previous all-time high at the peak, and the bottom part is at the capitulation point of the previous correction. So it's my humble opinion that we are going to go up and touch this trend line, which if we zoom in, there's not much left to do that. I believe that this push up could jive with this either going sideways and then making a tiny little push up before it falls, and the same thing would apply to Ethereum. I believe Ethereum will do something similar to what Bitcoin is doing. It'll make a push up and then turn around and drop to its capitulation point. Same with XRP. So I believe that this fractal, this current fractal, jives correctly with what I believe the Bitcoin chart, or the grand kind of structure of Bitcoin, is doing. I think it jives. I think it jives with Ethereum, and I think it jives with XRP. So if this is to continue to play out, we would see something like this take place, and then it would drop, as you can see here, to its next point where it moves sideways. Now this could easily be a bull run here for crypto. Time will tell, but it keeps declining. This is a very long, drawn-out decline that takes place, eventually coming to a capitulation point. So folks, as you can see, currently the Dow Jones is following the peak structure from back in 1929. Like I said, what would make this grand cycle be different is maybe if it went sideways for a long time, and that would be something different. But again, this pattern has been playing out for 90 years. It's unique, but it's following the same basic structure as that pattern that started in 1896 and ended in 1932. So if this continues to play out, we would see a prolonged decline that would be probably a depression. However, it does not mean that it's going to be necessarily bad for crypto. Now, this is a very important thing to understand. All I'm showing is what charts have been doing and if they follow the current pattern, what they will do. I'm doing the same with Bitcoin, I'm doing the same with Ethereum, and I'm doing the same with XRP. So if those crypto charts continue to follow exactly what they have been doing, we will see more bull runs. If this continues to follow what it has been doing, we will see a decline. So we can have both scenarios happen. We can have a prolonged decline and see crypto do well in that decline. Well, I hope this video was informative. Like I said, if you found value in it, please hit that thumbs up button, and once again, hit that subscribe button if you find this type of analysis interesting. I'm not a financial advisor, so nothing I present here should be considered financial or investment advice. I'm so glad you caught this video. Thank you for watching it. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.